Mac is back. Today we're going to talk about the commander Daeron that was recently released. He is a pretty big, one of the big commanders. They keep adding on some of these commanders, which good and bad, I guess, depending on how you want to look at it. He's a good commander for a lot of reasons, especially if paired with specific commanders, can be a very good lineup. So one of those types of lineups that you can kind of go for throughout the game if you've been playing it for a decent long amount of time, or you can just go for it, now as well, just starting from the beginning. So let's get to it. So the first thing I want to note is that he is basically the infantry equivalent to Dana here. So if you look at her, you can see she has 50%. She's a spear commander with 50% spear attack, 25% total defense, and this basically this counter ratio here as well. So if we look at him, you can see it's 50% infantry attack, the total defense, and then the same type of ratio based on him being an infantry commander. So that's just something to note. He is one of the basically 8 really big commanders. If we're essentially talking about him, Peter Baelish, Clegane, Dana, Cersei, the Night King, Jon Snow, and Daenerys. So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then Dany is 8. So those are the 8 commanders that are very, very powerful. That you have to pay a lot of money to be able to get them unlocked and to upgrade them as well. So just that's something to be noted. Something also we're going to go into is his awakening skill. So actually, we'll talk about his skills first. Looking at his skills, you can see here in battle, if you have him, say, in the training grounds, or if you want to use him for rebel leaders, let's see if he's any good. He deals 6,170 damage to enemies within a circular area and stuns them for 1 second. So that's actually not too bad, especially for the training grounds. He wouldn't be not somebody I would want to use against a rebel leader, because this, at least especially for this ability, because it's only going to do to one target. So that one target is going to do the 6,000 damage at the start of the battle. Changes to and attacks the furthest enemy. Increases attack by so his attack is actually increased by 2,200. So that's not too bad, because at 90 seconds, I mean, almost all the battles are going to be on for that long, or longer, or not as long as that. But he attacks the furthest one. So that's, again, in the training grounds. If you have that, if someone puts, say, Simon, and you want to kill him quicker, then you want to put maybe Daeron in the back, or maybe you want to put him in the front, or wherever you want to put him. But he's going to start attacking that back row, so that'd be a good one to put in there as well. When attacking the same target, attack speed increases continuously. If the target changes, the additional attack speed bonus will be cleared. Minimum interval in between attacks is 0.3 seconds. So that's actually really good. When you're talking about your attack speed increasing, then he's going to keep increasing his attack. That means the damage will just be done faster. So it's essentially increasing the damage. So that's really, really good. So when I said he wasn't very good for rebel leaders, that ability right there alone would put him in that. Definitely use him for pretty much every single one, because if his attack's going to increase, basically forever until it dies, increases speed to just attack until it's cleared. I mean, that's pretty good. And then recovers health, 1,100 health after every attack. So now he's a healer too. He heals himself. So that's tanky. Then you got the increased attack. Then you got the stun, plus he does multiple damage. That's really good in the training grounds. I would use him for that. I would also use him for the rebel leaders as well. Now let's look at his 4-star ability. You can see here when the allied front row lands a total of 50 normal attacks, Daeron deals damage once to all enemies with a coefficient of 50%. If an enemy is inflicted by bleed, they can take damage 1 extra time, and with a coefficient of 150%. So essentially, he's someone who is very dependent upon normal attacks with that 50 normal attacks you can see there. So he's very dependent on how many attacks it gets off. He does do a lot of damage against lineups, because he's doing it to all lineups. Deals damage to once to all enemies. That's very, very good as well. So he's a really good commander to have, as you would expect for if you're going to be paying up for him. He does multiple damage if there is a bleed, so that's good as well. So you got to have be able to get a bleed into the attacks as well. So who's this going to really basically go along with? Well, let's go take out and look at some other commanders. So the first thing I want to note is that Sonora it's going to be the Sonora lineup that you're going to want to have Daeron in. So you can see here, when allied melee troops use normal attacks, there's a 70% chance of attacking one additional time, with another coefficient damage there as well. So that's really good. And then it says, however, the troops are silenced and excited. So the silence, we know, is that there's no active skills, because that's what the Sonora lineup is. And then the excited status is unable to initiate weakness attacks against the weakest lineup. So, which it really isn't anything that Sonora is going to deal with anyway. But to have her melee troops using normal attacks, 70% chance of attacking additional times, that will actually will help Daeron get his ability off, because he's doing 50. He needs to get 50 attacks off, 50 normal attacks off. So this would actually help quite significantly. Now, the one commander that it won't help is going to be the one we had talked about before, and that is Jaime. And the reason it doesn't Jaime will not help is when allied lineups receive healing, lineups normal attack changes to a weakness attack for 5 seconds. So we don't want the weakness attack, because if it changes to a weakness attack, it's not a normal attack, and that's what how Daeron gets his ability off. He needs those normal attacks, not the weakness attack. So you want to make sure you don't put Jaime in the same lineup as Daeron, because that won't work, and you'll delay his getting his ability off significantly, and you'll hinder him. Now, someone else that you're going to want is Rey. And the reason you want Rey in there is because she is one of the same things. She has that silence, so she only needs a normal attacks. But what is whenever allied troops land a critical hit, she inflicts the bleed on the target. And that's what we talked about getting those additional attacks in, is inflicting the bleed. So this just compounds, basically, activating the bleed for Daeron. So that's exactly what you want. And whenever an allied front row lands a total of 20 normal attacks, the normal attack will be a critical hit. And so we also talked about that as well. So these are all really good synergy together, having Rey, Sonora, and Daeron all together in one. That will do something, do very, very good. If you want to, I don't have him in here, so I'll have to go back here. But the other one is the Hound as well, because whenever the allied front row lands a normal 40 normal attack, deals damage to 550% of the troops attack to enemies directly in front, and inflicts the bleed again. So there's another one as well. So and the silence you really don't worry about, because these are normal attacks. You're not worried about the active army abilities of them. So, or active army skills. So that's what he's very good with them as well. And then the last two that he's good with was going to be Barrett, and here he is. And the reason it's Barrett is, if you look here, it says whenever each allied lineup front row uses normal attacks, again, that's what we talked about before, there's a 50% chance of inflicting the bleed, and that's what they want. You want the bleed, you want the crit, so he's another one you'd want to put in that lineup. And if you are a big spender, then Jon Snow would be the other one as well. And if you look at Jon Snow's 4-star, whenever the battle begins, the allied troop type in the front will receive a 15% normal attack damage reduction for 15 seconds. Allied infantry and non-front row troop types normal attack will have a 20% chance of dealing a 150% critical hit for 25 seconds. So that's another one you'd want to put in there as well, especially for an infantry focused lineup. So essentially, if we're talking about a lineup that you want to put together with Daeron in it, Sonora is going to be in there no matter what. So you have Sonora, you have Daeron, you have Rey, because Rey is really good with that synergy as well. And if you have a lot of money and you've paid up for some of these commanders, then the Hound and Jon Snow would be your other two that you want to put in there for your 5 in that there. If you don't have one of them, high enough or upgraded enough, then Barrett would be another one to put in there. So for like a cheaper lineup, say you just have Daeron, you paid up for Daeron, and you wanted him to get the 4-star ability, then Daeron, Sonora, Rey, and Barrett would be the ones I'd want to put in there together. And then you could just maybe add in another commander that has, for instance, some frontline, health and attack and whatnot, something like that, in defense, to be able to bring that together. So This is a very good commander. I really, really like his skills here that he has. You can use in training grounds, and you can use them for rebel leaders. But this awakening skill, a lot of synergy in there, and it'll do a whole lot of damage. So I hope this gives you a better idea of whether you want to go for him or not. My opinion of the top 8 of the big commanders, the Night King is definitely the best. He's the most expensive because there's no discounts for him. You do get a little extra rewards for him that you can, but overall, I believe that Daeron is actually one of those really good commanders to upgrade as well. So until next time, Mac out.